Morning. First, I want to welcome everybody to the House Appropriations Committee. We have a lot of new members serving on this committee this year, and we were all challenged and charged with the constitutional issue of having a balanced budget for the state of Kansas. And so we'll actually have deliberations on that going forward. I'd like to welcome back my vice chair, Representative Kyle Hoffman, and then I'd like to welcome into a new seat, because you've been on the Appropriations Committee for many years, but our new ranking member, Henry Helgerson. So I'd like to welcome those, and then I'd also like to welcome Assistant Minority Leader Valdinia Nguyen. She is going to be sitting in for Sydney Carlin, who had surgery actually yesterday. So welcome to committee. So first, we're just kind of going to go through just some basic items in regards to appropriations. First, you should have received from my committee assistant the rules for the committee and for the conferees. So please review those. But right now, we're going to go ahead and have committee member and staff introductions. First, I'd like to introduce the members of my staff. As you are aware, last year, Kathy Holscher, who was the committee assistant for many years for the Appropriations Committee, retired and moved to Florida. So we have a new committee assistant, and so that is Susan McClatchy. Oh. So welcome to committee. I also have a new office assistant, and that is Sherry Sudduth, and then my chief of staff, he actually has stayed the same. So that is Jeffrey House, who is in the corner over there. He's not in trouble. He just always sits back there. So we'll go ahead and start with first committee member introductions. And I would start with Chairman Corbett.
Good morning. I'm glad to see some new chairs and the way we moved around, and the 54th district is here to try to save the state some money.
Well, good morning. As Representative Waymaster said, I will be sitting in for Representative Carlin during her medical leave. I'm Representative Valdinia Nguyen, Assistant Minority Leader from Kansas City, Kansas. Also happy to serve with the two other members on the K-12 budget, maybe 4, 5, 6, whoever. But nevertheless, this is my 12th session, and I'm also a professor of history at the community college for many years. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Avery Anderson. I represent the 72nd District, Newton, and I look forward to sitting on the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Shannon Francis. I represent the 125th District, which is the cities of Liberal, Plains, and Kismet, Kansas, Seward County, Meade County. But that also gives me the distinction of being the Liberal Republican.
Oh, it was my mic. Well, between the two of them, they took everything I was going to say. So you are a liberal Republican, but there are plenty more. I'm Bill Sutton. I represent the 43rd District. That's the southwest corner of Johnson County.
Well, if you are a liberal Republican, you won't be back. My name is John Alcala. I represent the 57th District, which is Northeast Shawnee County.
Ken Rogers, 110th for Central Kansas, or North Central and Northwest, or whoever will claim me.
Representative Pam Curtis, and I represent the 32nd District, which is downtown Kansas City, Kansas in Wyandotte County. And this is my 9th session, but my first on appropriations, so I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Sean Tarwater, District 27, Stillwell, Kansas. And thanks for having me back.
Susan Concannon from the 107th District. I live in Beloit, but I represent no, not liberal, not liberal. All of Mitchell, Ottawa, half of Cloud County, and I've got a chunk of Saline County. And this is my 6th term.
Good morning. I'm Kyle Hoffman. I represent the 116th District. This is my 13th year in the legislature. I think this is my 11th year in the appropriations, and been the vice chair now for, they'll be starting 5. I'm by far the longest running one that you've had now, so. I know. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here too. So obviously Representative Troy Waymaster, I represent 5 counties in central Kansas, all of the counties of Ellsworth, Russell, Osborne, Smith, and Lincoln. This is my 7th year as the chairman of the Appropriations Committee.
Henry Helgerson from the 83rd District, which is east part of Wichita. And I think I was trying to calculate. I think I've been in the legislature for 26, 27 years and about 20 years on appropriations.
Stephen Owens from Heston, 74th House District, so parts of Harvey, Marion, and McPherson County. I have been on this committee since I started my tenure here in the legislature. This is my 5th session and 3rd term.
Good morning. My name is Christy Williams, and I serve the 77th. That is it's Butler County, part of Butler County, right next to Wichita. And I think this is my 9th year and my 6th year on appropriations. Glad to be here.
I'm Brenda Landwehr from the 105th on the west side of Wichita. And this is my 31st year, not consecutive, but my 31st year. And I've lost count of the number of years being on appropriations, so.
I'm Barbara Ballard, 44th District. Douglas County really only represent 1, and it's Lawrence. And I have been on, I think, Brenda, we came on in 1997.
1997.
97. Social Services Budget. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Les Mason, 73rd House District, which is basically 2/3 of McPherson County. 10th year, starting my 10th year in the legislature, 1st year on this committee.
Susan Estes, District 87, so one of the many representatives from Wichita. So I cover mostly north of Kellogg, but not entirely, and mostly east of Wichita, but not all the way up north.
My name is Representative Adam Turk. I'm from the new 117th District in western Johnson County in central Douglas. So right where the new plant's going to be built, that's where I reside. Appreciate it. 1st year here. Thanks.
I was going to say, it's actually a distinct privilege for a freshman to be on the Appropriations Committee, and you have that honor of serving here on your freshman year.
Yes, I'm very blessed to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Freshmen bring donuts, so keep that in mind.
Don't fall for that. I didn't fall for that either.
I own and operate gyms. You won't be receiving donuts.
Good morning, everyone. Brandon Woodard from the new 108th District, which is parts of Lenexa, Olathe, and Overland Park. Here for my 5th session and 2nd session here on appropriations. Happy to be here.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Stephen Howe. I represent the 71st District, which is the east part of Saline County and Salina. I apologize for being a few minutes late. I dropped off 3 of my school-aged kids at 3 different schools this morning and booked it to Topeka. So glad to be here. I serve as chairman of the Higher Education Budget Committee and look forward to working with everybody here on this committee as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Can you see me down here okay? Jared Owsley, 9th session, 1st session here on the committee, so I'm excited to be able to spend more than 2 days with this committee, and hopefully we'll have some good trouble. Thank you.
Well, I want to welcome all of you to the Appropriations Committee. Obviously, we're going to have a very busy schedule. as the session progresses. And actually, we'll talk about what the schedule is going to be looking like at the end of the meeting. And one thing that I will say is that if you're returning members or new members, the individuals that we rely on the most is our staff. And so right now, I would ask our research analyst, Amy Deckard, to introduce the staff that we're going to be relying on through the rest of the session. Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am Amy Deckard, the Assistant Director for Fiscal Affairs for the Legislative Research Department. Very pleased to introduce our talented fiscal staff. You should have a blue piece of paper in front of you that lists all of the staff and the agencies that they are assigned to. If you have any questions about any of those agencies, feel free to contact those analysts directly. I'm always happy to coordinate those requests. If you find it easier to have servo requests, happy to receive those. I'm responsible for the legislative branch agency budgets. Happy to discuss those with you. I would also note that this is my 21st session as a fiscal analyst for the department. And so we're going to go through and briefly introduce all of the fiscal staff members. So next up is Dylan.
Thank you.
Good morning, committee. My name is Dylan Deere. I'm a managing fiscal analyst. I have been with the department since '09, so this will be my 13th session. I've done most state budgets at one point or another. I will be presenting the Department for Children and Families budget this year, and I am also the coordinator for performance-based budgeting, so if you have any PBB questions, feel free to reach out.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Sharday Kane. This is my third legislative session, and I'm responsible for the Kansas Department of Commerce, the Kansas Department of Revenue, the Board of Tax Appeals, and the Board of Pharmacy. And we're supposed to say a fun fact if we want to. So I'm originally from Michigan, and I graduated from Auburn University with my bachelor's and master's degree. And I look forward to working with all of you this session.
Little adjustment there. Good morning, committee. My name is Martin DeBoer. I'm a fiscal analyst. This is my fourth session working with KLRD. My agencies this session is a big switch up for me from the last few sessions. I'll have administrative hearings, the Board of Indigent Defense Services, the Lottery, Racing and Gaming, the Attorney General's Office, Judicial Council, Judicial Branch, the Board of Barbering, Board of Cosmetology. I'm also the coordinator for the Expanded Lottery Act Revenue Fund. I am facilitating the General Government Budget Committee, as well as helping staff the Transportation Public Safety Committee, as well as do the bids assigned council caseloads twice a year. And I guess I'm the de facto captain of the KLRD basketball team, currently comprised of one. So I take on all challengers one-on-one. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Dayton Lemunyan, fiscal analyst with KLRD. This is my second session. My assigned budgets are KDADS, the Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services, Kansas Neurological Institute, Parsons State Hospital and Training Center, Larned State Hospital, Osawatomie State Hospital, and the Behavioral Sciences Regulatory Board. I'm from Hutchinson, Kansas, graduated from KU and KU Law, and happy to answer any social services questions you might have. Thanks.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Merle Riedel. This is my fourth legislative session. Budgets that I have assigned to me include the Department of Transportation, KBI, Kansas Highway Patrol, Emergency Management Services Board, State Fire Marshal, and the Adjutant General's Department. I'll also be supporting the House Transportation and Public Safety Budget, Senate Transportation, Senate Ways and Means. Originally from Tipton, Kansas, population 125 people, and graduated from KU and K-State.
Good morning. My name is Megan Leopold. This will be my fourth session. My budgets that I cover are Office of the Governor, Board of Healing Arts, Board of Nursing, KDHE Health, and KDHE Environment. I coordinate the Children's Initiatives Fund, I also facilitate social service budget and support House Appropriations.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Light. This is my first year as a fiscal analyst with KLRD. This year I will be presenting budgets on the agencies of the Kansas Insurance Department, the Healthcare Stabilization Fund Board of Governors, Governmental Ethics Commission, the Office of the Secretary of State, the Commission on Veterans Affairs Office, Pooled Money Investment Board, the Office of the State Treasurer, the Office of the State Bank Commissioner, and the Kansas Department of Credit Unions. I am a graduate of both Washburn and KU.
Good morning, committee. Welcome back to everyone. It's nice to see you back. My name's Shirley Morrow. This is my 13th session, and my agencies are now the Department of Corrections, Sentencing Commission, and CPOST. Fun facts is my family's been in Kansas since before Kansas was a state, so I'm a true Kansan. Thanks.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. My name is Luke Drury, and this is my first session with Legislative Research. The agencies that I've been assigned are the Board of Veterinary Examiners, Citizens Utility Ratepayer Board, Department of Agriculture, Dental Board, Board of Mortuary Arts, Board of Examiners and Optometry, Department of Wildlife and Parks, the Corporation Commission, State Fair, and the Water Office, and I will also be the coordinator for the State Water Plan Fund, and I will also be staffing House Water and Ag and Natural Resources budget. I am a graduate of Emporia State University and Kansas State, and originally from Gardner, Kansas.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and everyone in the committee. My name is Amanda Prosser. I am brand spanking new. I am literally in my first couple of weeks here, and everyone has been great supporting me. I'll be presenting the budgets on the Historical Society, the State Library, both the School for the Blind and the School for the Deaf, the Real Estate Appraisal Board, KREC, and the Kansas Board of Hearing Aid Examiners. I graduated Kansas State University and Kansas University, University of Kansas, and since then I have been home. We live on a goat farm, so I have lots of goats and chickens, and I am happy to talk goats with anyone that would like to.
Good morning, committee. I'm Brianna Horton. This is my first legislative session. I facilitate the Higher Education Budget Committee, so I have Board of Regents, Emporia State, Fort Hays, Kansas State, KSU Ag, KSU Vet, Pittsburgh State, University of Kansas Medical Center, and Wichita State University. A fun fact about me is that I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I went to UGA, so go Dogs.
How do you sit by us? Just kidding. Happy to have you.
Hi, good morning, committee. My name is Molly Pratt, and this is my first session with KLRD. I'm a fellow. My agencies are the Kansas Human Rights Commission, the Board of Accountancy Abstractors, Board of Examiners, and the Kansas Board of Technical Professions. I'm also staffing the House Veterans and Military Committee and the Senate Education Committee, as well as helping out on the Transportation and Public Safety Budget Committee, Agriculture Committee, and General Government Committee. I am from the Prairie Village, Leawood area of Kansas. I've lived here my whole life. I went to Shawnee Mission East for high school, graduated from K-State with a degree in history, and just graduated law school last May from UMKC. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is J.G. Scott. I have the, let me see, Kansas State Department of Education. This is my 21st session with Legislative Research. I had another 21 on the dark side with the executive branch. But happy to be here. Stepped away from budget for a little bit, but We had a last chance call for Department of Ed, and nobody took us up on it, so here I am. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have on the Department of Ed.
All right, thank you, JG. And thank you to all the individuals with the Legislative Research Department. Now I'll turn it over to Jill Walters from the Revisor's Office to introduce the staff.
Excuse me. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for that welcome. My name is Jill Walters, and I work for the Office of Revisor of Statutes. I've been there 38 years. I think it's a fabulous job. I actually really do love working for all you guys. It's fascinating every day. Just as a quick reminder, the Office of the Revisor of Statutes does your bill drafts. We do your floor amendments, and we would really like to work with you on provisos or ideas you have. So if you would reach out to us for those specific things, that would be really great. And of course, we work with KLRD very closely, but those things we usually take the lead on. So if you would reach out to us, that would be great. Thank you.
And you had to mention the word provisos.
Sorry. If you're limited to like one per, if you're limiting everybody to one per, that's fine with us.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get towards the budget process and the end of session. So.
Good morning, committee. I am Jesse, an attorney with Jill. This is my 4th session with the Revisor of Statutes Office and 2nd year for Appropriations.
All right, so that is the staff for the Appropriations Committee. The next item on the agenda, you should have received from Susan through email some reports that were designated to be coming to the Appropriations Committee, and one of those was the Kansas Department of Transportation report on the Driver Education Reimbursement Grant Pilot Program report. You should have also received the Kansas Housing Resources Corporation report, and also a report from the Kansas Department for Aging and Disabilities 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline report. One thing, I mean, obviously, this is a pretty light meeting today, so we just want to go through the introductions, and then I also want to express, and I had a meeting with the budget chairs yesterday and expressed the same comment, but this also extends to all of the members of the Appropriations Committee, is that I always have an open door policy. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, questions, whatever the case may be, feel free to stop by my office and we can discuss those. My door is always open for all of you. Tomorrow we will be meeting, but please note that there is a date and location change. The meeting is going to be starting at 9:30 a.m. in the old Supreme Court room. This is our joint meeting with the Senate Ways and Means Committee, where we're going to be getting the governor's budget. So we have a joint meeting with the House and the Senate. Even though that the governor will not be presenting her State of the State speech tonight, we still will be having the budget released tomorrow morning. So please make a note, tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. in the old Supreme Court room. Also, for the schedule for next week, we kind of went through the planning of that yesterday. Up until the point that we actually do have budget report outs from the respective budget committees, I am not going to be scheduling meetings on Mondays or Fridays. So we'll just be having in midweek, we'll be having the committee meetings. Those budget report outs should start around the 1st of February. So the next meeting that we're actually going to be having after tomorrow's meeting will not be until Wednesday. I'm not scheduling a meeting on Tuesday the 17th. So that should be posted, that we're going to be having our next meeting in this room is going to be Wednesday, January 18th at 9 a.m. Also, I kind of wanted to let everybody know my schedule is going to be somewhat fluid. And the reason why I say that is because my wife and I are expecting twins on January 24th, and I will be out of the building that week. So Vice Chairman Hoffman will be taking the helm when I am gone. I don't know how many days I'll be gone, but during that week of January 23rd, I will probably not be here that much. If I want to stay married, I probably will not be here. But Vice Chairman Hoffman will be taking the helm and handling the committee process during that time. Like I said, I don't know how many days I'll be gone. But anyways, I just kind of want to let everybody know that that is what my schedule looks like right now. So if there is nothing else for the committee, actually, I probably should ask, are there any bill introductions this morning? Introduce yourself. Bill, yeah. Very funny, Representative Sutton. All right, if there is...
I think Rogers.
Representative Rogers.
Are you, these twins are the name Ways and Means?
No, that's the Senate side. I'm not going to
I
name
know,
them
but
after that.
well, you know, I didn't want to say appropriations, so. Okay.
No, we do have names picked out, and they're both boys. So we're just answering. I was hoping they'd be born before session, but that didn't happen. So if there's nothing else for the committee, we are adjourned until tomorrow morning at 9:30 in the old Supreme Court room.